of his life to be in fellowship with him and to understand and to receive those deposits. He even chose Judas, knowing that Judas would betray him. He didn't treat Judas any differently. As a matter of fact, he gave Judas the same access and the same privileges that he gave to everybody else. Even though Judas was cracked up and crazy, he said, I know you're going to choose. I know you're going to switch out on me, but it really doesn't matter, because even God can use the one who switches out. Even God can use the one who is imperfect and the one who has issues. Even God can use the one who is the most broken down. And so here it is. Jesus takes them through this plan. He takes them through this training. He teaches them how to pray, teaches them how to forgive, and he teaches them how to serve alongside one another with extreme humility. Well, we understand that by the time all of the training was over, and by the time Jesus' ministry on earth was just about done, it would be these same 12 whom he had chosen, had poured into. It would be these same 12 who would forsake him and flee. He took the time to make the deepest investments in these. Yet these were the ones who would not remain even in the time of adversity. But what you have to understand is the reason he chose them. A lot of times we pick people for the happy seasons of our lives. But Jesus wasn't necessarily looking for them because of their affinity towards him. He was looking for them because of their ability to deal with adversity. Now, in the text, we understand that, yes, they did flee. By the time Jesus was being persecuted, everybody bailed. Peter, the one who said, Lord, I will die with you. I'm your ride or die. Yet Peter was the same one, the very first one who decided, I'm out, count me out, count me out. We don't even count Judas because Judas bailed before things got too deep. Judas saw an opportunity to capitalize off of Christ's relationship with him, and Judas was like, yes, I'll sell him out. What you going to give me? Whatever you want to give me, that's what I'm willing to take. I don't mind selling him out. We understand these were men whose hearts were impure. These were men who had motives that were not necessarily godly motives, yet the Lord chose them, and he chose them to be his closest companions. They walked with him in all of their wanderings, in all of his wanderings, in all of his witnessing, and in all of his work. They were the ones who were right there alongside him. He chose the imperfect to establish the church. He picked the weakest of men to establish the church. What was he saying to the church today? That I'm not looking for perfect people. I'm looking for people who I can perfect. I'm not looking for the one who has it together already. I'm looking for the one who I can put my spirit in and see a change manifest in their life. Look at your neighbor and ask them, guess who's coming to dinner? So realizing this, there was no bench, there was no second stream, there was no group that was going to come behind you. There was nobody waiting off in the wings. It was just them. What would you do if you were chosen to be Christ's inner circle? Would your behavior be any differently? Sometimes we cut up and act up the way we do because we assume somebody else is going to take my place anyway. Well, what if you understood there is no one to take your place? He has chosen you and you are it. He has chosen you for a work, for an assignment. He has called you and you are it. He doesn't have anybody to fill in. Nobody's going to take your place. Nobody's in the wing. You don't have a wingman. You don't have a wing girl. There's nobody standing off to the side. You were it. Would you behave any differently? Would you live life any differently? Would you do what you do with any more passion? Would you persevere any more diligently if you knew there was nobody coming behind you? A lot of times we just assume, well, I'm just going to do my part and somebody else can do the rest. There is nobody behind you to do the rest. He called you for your unique ordinariness. You are ordinary in his eyes, but that's the reason he called you, because he knew that he would take your ordinary and slap his spirit in your life and you would become extraordinary. He knew that he would take the commonality of who you are, slap his spirit on your life, and you would become uncommon. Just like Keebler's cookies, they are uncommonly good. And he knew that by the time he got through working with you, you would become uncommonly good. Look at your neighbor and tell him, I'm about to get an invitation to dinner. And so